Welcome, Sonia Flores. Welcome, the team. Thanks for being here. Enjoy pizza. I know Sonia Flores was saying that they're not going to be able to have pizza. We can save a slice. We'll email it to you if you like. But no, this is a super exciting. Tim's been doing business now for many years, and he got into solar about 15 years ago.
Yeah, 2013. I went private, and I worked for an international company.
Yeah.
One nobody ever heard of. Oh yeah. Prior to that, for about 3 years.
So Tim just retired pretty much, kind of.
Now I'm on the speaking circuit.
Yeah. Now he's on the speaking circuit. So welcome, Tim. This is super exciting because we have, since I learned this one time, we've already had 3 projects since the one time he told me about it. And I really think it's valuable. Sorry, I lost my voice. Started last night. I'm going through, change. And it's going to be an amazing thing that continues. It's really going to help out the HVAC systems that we're putting in. We're sucking so much juice lately in homes. It's out of control. And so the LED stuff and all that supports it, but Tim will go deeper into that. And that's why I brought him here, because I know that we can make a change. And just by you guys being educated about this, you get to tell clients yourself. This is not just about, just learning a little bit of something about something. This is really going to be a big change in the industry, so you can recommend it to clients. So that's the big thing. So welcome, Sonia Flores. Thanks. Can they hear us and speak to us?
Yeah, they can hear us.
Can they speak to us?
They should be able to. It should come to the owl.
Can you guys hear us?
They might be muted.
It's where are they? Sorry.
They may want to be unmuted.
No, where are they? Are they
Yeah. Jesse,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
You hear us good? You see us good?
Yep, I can.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
So you didn't want, we don't have to add anything.
No, I think you did a great job introducing you, so I don't need to. So, two of our, we have Katie Haro, one of our remote PMs, is on the line as well. Just so you know, she's remote as well.
Katie, you're here too?
Yes, hi, thank you for the intro. Hello.
Awesome. Yeah, this is gonna really gonna be helpful for everyone, like I said. So thanks.
Very good.
All right, good to go. I think you're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, just real quickly, I did run a national solar company, and I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And in 2013, I got drunk one night down in Hyannis, and my best contractor in the whole country was a gentleman by the name of Russell Cazeault, and he was a 4th generation roofer down in Hyannis, Plymouth County, in that area. And he convinced me to leave the boardroom and get back to my contracting roots. So we set up shop in Gloucester, Cape Ann, my hometown, and we've been blessed because, like you all, we've got great people, and we've been recognized Best of North Shore 5 years in a row, Best of Boston 6, 7 years in a row. So we really have had some phenomenal growth. We do solar throughout the whole East Coast, Eastern Massachusetts anyway. Before I get into solar, because there's been a ton of changes in solar, I'd like to spend a couple minutes talking about the energy crisis we have, because we got a huge energy crisis, and as Jesse alluded to, it's teed up some solutions, one of which is solar. So the energy crisis itself is really alarming. And just to set the tone, the mayor of Nashville, back in the fall of 23, called the NFL, and he said, "You gotta cancel the Titan game this Sunday night. I can't promise that I'm going to give you enough electricity to power the stadium." Anybody been to Nashville Stadium right downtown? Cool place. But he says, "I can't give you enough electricity." So this is bizarre. Everybody thinks Tennessee is a rich area for hydro, Tennessee Valley. Not so much. For the past 2 years, there's scheduled brownouts in California, Texas, and the Southwest. all right? Huge. Jesse and I know the publisher of The Best of North Shore. He happens to come from California, where I'm on a Zoom call with him a couple months ago. He's holding up a portable generator. He's got a portable generator so he doesn't go off the Zoom call, because he'll have his schedules brown out sometime during that day. Closer to home, we've got major grid issues. I don't know if you've read the news lately, but Waltham, you'll be working in Waltham has gone through schedule brownouts. So we're having a huge issue. And the other thing is we've got historical costs of electricity, which we'll get into. And what really is driving some of this behavior of electrification is incentives that we're talking about. Just published to make matters worse, I'm going to give you solutions. So don't run off and jump off the bridge now, okay? I've got some solutions. I don't want to paint a really bad picture, but we've got some challenges. Because as Americans, we don't have a plan. We don't have any energy plan. What do we do as Americans? We throw money at the problem. We throw incentive money at the problem, okay? We can't get the people in Washington to walk across the street yet, okay? If they did, maybe we should. I'm reading reported, I can't say that. But they just let us know that this past year, 2023, is the hottest year on Earth, recorded on Earth. What does that mean? It means we're using more electricity. And then consumption, the EV explosion. This past year, we just hit the 1 million milestone. 1 million EVs sold in the United States this past year. So we get this explosive use of electricity. We got incredible changes in weather patterns, okay? Everybody thinks this is cold. I tried out for my high school hockey team on Niles Pond, all right? And that was the day after Thanksgiving. So this is nothing compared to what we grew up with. We had pond hockey every day. The ponds froze. And conversely, we didn't have this extreme hot weather like that. So
I miss
a lot
those days.
What's
I miss
that?
those days. Those are fun.
I miss them too, Jesse.
Yeah.
Jeez, do I miss them.
I mean, when was the last time you guys went pond hockey?
That's
That's
right.
it. I mean, 2 years ago. What day?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember a day. It was
Right.
Sunday.
Yeah, it was one day we had last year.
Yeah. It's all this rain. We would have had snow, feet of snow years ago. I remember the blizzard of '78. Okay. So, what is happening with the consumption? It's called electrification and decarbonization, this explosiveness in the United States. And what does that mean? If you haven't heard those buzzwords, you'll hear them loud and clear in the next year or two. People writing books about it, all right, with this explosive use of electricity. Keep in mind, too, what happened is 2 years ago, we shut down the nuclear power plants in Massachusetts. Okay? So we don't have that power to draw from, all right? So what's the hype all about? It's a movement away from fossil fuels, all right? It's to reduce the carbon emissions. Okay? That's what electrification is about, of decarbonization. And there's some rewards with that. I'll get into those in a minute. Examples of electrification and decarbonization, as Jesse said, heat pumps is number one. I've got many friends, in fact, we're merging in the business I consult with, I used to be ownership of, is merging into the heat pump technology as we speak. Heat pumps are, you okay? Heat pumps are huge, absolutely huge and explosive, all right? So we've got that happening. We've got, as I mentioned, we've got the electric vehicle explosion. We've got solar battery and installations. Not so easy in Massachusetts, okay? We can talk about that from a contracting standpoint. And then we have the smart homes, smart thermostats, smart electronics, security systems. All that is happening within the house, okay? Please interrupt me with questions as we go.
Those batteries are really expensive. We priced them out for our project because we're like, well, why don't we price out for having the battery source? And it was almost as much as the solar panels.
Yeah.
It was really expensive, and you need a lot of storage area for them as well.
Yeah, you know, you'll see a PDF, an advertisement of a solar battery in the living room, and there's Graham grandfather me reading to the grandkids, right? Not Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, you have to have a conditioned, non-livable space to put your battery. Okay? And it has to have a 1 hour firewall rating. So the build-out cost is anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. And you have to have standoffs 3 feet around that battery. So in a house
Because it
like
gets so
mine,
hot.
yeah,
Because it gets so hot.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. Or perceived to get hot.
Right.
It's a great solution for new construction. We profiled this old house 2 years ago. We did one out in Concord. But that's a new renovated home. All right.
large budget.
It was a very large project. Right on. So what's the interest, what's the activity, what's everything going on here? And for the first time last year, not so much now, because gas prices, I was going to my grandson's basketball game the other day, or Sunday, up in Melrose. And I come up on Route 1, and there's a freaking line down the breakdown line on Route 1. Okay, it's before you get to, it's just when you get on Route 1 from 128. And there's a line, a gas line, all right? Because the gasoline station there, the Gulf, is $2.78. That's pretty good, okay? But all of a sudden now we got a gas line back to the 70s when I was a kid. But last summer, for the first time in the history of the United States, every source of energy was at all-time high. It's never happened before. Usually what happens is electricity's low, gas is high, natural gas, vice versa, propane, okay? You'd always have this, in builders, it causes an issue from a building perspective, saying, if I've got natural gas in the street, but it's high, what source of energy do I use for the consumer, okay? Now it's relatively simple, because they're all high, you know, when you look at electrification. Uncertainty in the world issues, okay? This is, you know, I heard now that Iraq and Pakistan are going at it.
Iran.
Right? Where I said Iraq?
Yeah.
Iran and Pakistan, they're going at it now. Okay, everybody wants to fight, all right? So that uncertainty is causing people to make some decisions. We came out of the pandemic, and if you didn't have a backlog shortly after the pandemic, then there was something wrong with business. All right, because there was a huge surge of building. Conversely, building materials took off, didn't it?
I think we just gotta talk to their parents.
Yeah.
Like, why did you raise these kids like this?
Oh, so throw away society.
Just start talking with them, and then everything will get resolved. Like, stop teaching their kids how to do this. I mean, come on, those countries have been a mess for years. I don't want to get into it.
They're not gonna.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about politicians not walking across the street together. Those folks aren't gonna want it.
No way.
So what this uncertainty did, in my estimation, is it caused people to control their own destiny, to make investments in their home. You guys see it, because your backlogs are probably huge. Okay? So they want to take control of their own destiny. And then the incentives are driving behavior. And hopefully consciousness is driving behavior, so folks are saying, I want to help the environment. All right, I want to help the environment because if this global warming, this huge, I mean, every day Kansas has a tornado, all right? Not only that, South Carolina is getting the heck out, beat up. So all these states that were pretty something, subtle, that are all getting beat to heck because of this uncertainty in the weather. Scientists will tell you, some scientists will say it's too late, can't turn back the clock. I'm not a scientist, I'm an optimist, I believe we can. I believe we can start doing it. That's why I got into solar, to help with that equation. So the incentives dictate the behavior. Why is everybody doing heat pumps? No, Mass Save says you can get $10,000 if you put heat pumps in. Not so true, okay? It's an equation, we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So all these things are driving this craziness that we're experiencing. And then if you, to take a snapshot, look at the incentives. All right, solar, the IRA, the Income Recovery Act that was adopted back in November of 2022, bumped the solar incentives back up to 30%. It was at 26, then to 22, This year it's going to be at 16. Excuse me. It's bumped back up to 30% now, and that's for the next 10 years. So people are sitting there saying, maybe I might want to invest in solar. Okay? Maybe I want to invest in some of these other electrification solutions. Here's the big one. 30% now, not-for-profit, non-profit organizations, churches, YMCAs, people that don't have a tax situation now are eligible for the 30%. They were never before. So all of a sudden, these poor folks that want to reduce their church is a good example, wants to reduce their operating costs, their electricity costs. They couldn't make the numbers work because they weren't getting 30%. Now they're getting 30%, and it's in the form of a grant. So that's huge for us in the solar industry. State remains 15%. They get $1,000 for residential only. If you're putting heat pumps in, this is important because the heat pumps generate incentives. They also use a hell of a lot of electricity. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. So heat pumps can, based on the equation of how much carbon you're going to reduce, sets the equation for how much you're going to get back in incentives. I put a heat pump in my house this past summer. I put 2 heads in 2 bathrooms. I had an old Victorian house in Gloucester. I can't get enough cooling up for the upstairs because of the pitch of the roof and just the way the house is designed. And you can't get enough airflow out of the system. So we put heat pump in. I'm getting excited. My wife hears these on TV. Nancy Kerrigan or whatever her name is, advertising everything. And Mass State's going to give us $10,000. I didn't offset too much carbon, so I'm getting $1,800. So you just got to be careful of what that incentive number is. It has to do with how much carbon is in the set point of the thermostat. Okay, don't want to get too technical. Installation, if you're doing the Mass Save install, every single house in Massachusetts should have an inspection. Okay, 70%. Okay, everybody qualifies for 70%, 75% of the work being done. Everybody.
What if your local municipality, I'm in Danvers, we have our own electrical? Right? Does that work? Does that hold?
No, every one of the municipalities, there are 44 municipalities in Massachusetts. Ipswich, Topsfield, Raleigh, and Peabody's a good example. Peabody's huge.
Reading, like Reading, Mass with Reading Light?
Reading RMLD has the best incentives in the state. Okay? They all have their own programs.
So Danvers has its own program, but I can't do it through National Grid.
You don't do it through Mass.
Okay.
Yeah, you do it through the Danvers Electric.
Okay.
They're not as aggressive as Reading's phenomenal. Anybody got any work in Reading, get them hooked up with a home energy audit, get them hooked up with solar. It's huge, huge. We have a commercial customer in Reading, big system, getting $85,000 cash back from Reading. $85,000. Made his payback, shorten it up by 2 years, where it would be across the street in National Grid in Woolworth. Okay. EV charging stations now 30%. Okay. And then the Mass Save qualifying loan for everything except solar, Mass Save will give you 0% interest. So there's funding out there. Funding is available for those. All right. If somebody's I don't know if I put it yet. EVs now will be eligible for the federal tax credit, not 30%. And it also has not been defined which electric vehicles are subject for what incentives. It depends on where the car is manufactured and a portion of the parts therefore that go into the car where they're manufactured. So the point is, if you're buying an EV, make sure you work with your dealership to make sure that you know that car you're going to buy is going to give you a federal tax credit. Okay?
I'm surprised that we're not in need to put one over at Nectar's house because we're doing almost the whole house, like just a remodel and all. I know Hanley, we had to put an ERV station in. And the garage we're doing, they wanted an ERV station put in.
Yeah.
So I think it makes a lot of sense to have it because it will go that way eventually. And we'll fight it till the end.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some qualifying questions in a minute,
Yeah, sure.
after the customers talk, because that's a good point, very good point. So beyond the incentives, there's an impact on the, that should say environment, not the economy, okay? Sorry for mistype. So there's savings, a positive impact on the environment. So for every gallon of oil, all right, that's out there, all right, it has 23 pounds of CO2, all right? So if we can reduce that, then we're helping the environment. All right, gallon of gasoline is 19. And this is just in order, okay? Propane and natural gas. Natural gas is the least, but it's still big. Okay? So our goal is to try to reduce some of this stuff as a green contractor. If you look at the house itself, okay? The house itself has the capability of using 52,000 pounds of CO2 a year. That's if they're using oil and then they've got a two-car ownership. So that's huge. Now, that's a lot of CO2. All right. Again, we're trying to have an impact on that as well. All right. So the decarbonization, electrification changed the territory and changed the qualification that we have with customers. It was real simple, and I'll show you in a minute how. I taught my grandsons how to map out a solar system, okay, how to size one. Sizing a solar system is the simplest thing in the world. However, we have to make sure that we look at the trailing 12 months of the historical consumption. And then we need to make sure that we're taking into consideration what they're going to do in the next 5 years, next 10 years. Okay? It's very important that we understand what their goals are. Okay, so my sales team goes into a customer, real simple, they can take the electric bill, I'll show it to you in a minute. They add it up and say, okay, you need X amount of panels to offset this. Yep, you got it on the roof, we're good to go. We can put 22 panels up there and take care of the Wi-Fi. Here's the payback, here's the cost, here's all your incentives, are we ready to go? Now we got to start taking a deep breath and say, what are your goals? Are you going to get an EV? Are you going to get heat pumps? Okay, a lot of my friends are in HVAC, and then the number one complaint of customers with the heat pumps, besides the fact that the head's big, right? Those heads in the living room or bedrooms are fairly large. But the number one complaint that contractors get for putting heat pumps in is they didn't tell the customer how much additional electricity they're going to use. So all of a sudden they turn it on. I got this new system. Let me put the set point at 20 degrees. And they kick it on for heat, they kick it on for AC, and then about 3 or 4 months later, they start looking at the electric bill and say, oh my God, Jesus, John, you never told me I was going to get nailed, okay? We now have the solar contractors, we have to take that into consideration, and we do, okay?
Is it that much more expensive than like a standard, like HVAC system? They put a new, like if they put central air into their house and they didn't have it before, is it that much of a difference with the heat pumps versus like a traditional forced hot air system?
The answer to that is yes, it could be. It could be. Again, what's driving the heat pump? What's grabbing the heat pump, driving it, is the incentives. People are thinking they're going to get 10 grand. And you know, when they put them in, they said, oh, 1,800 bucks, that's a pretty good step down from 10 grand. Now, I kind of knew I wasn't getting 10 grand, so I knew I was only putting a 2-ton head. Okay?
Yeah, but you must have solar on your house, right?
I do.
Right. So the idea is you get that equipment first, then you put, like for me, I did an addition, and then I'm waiting to put solar on the top. I haven't got those yet, so that it can supply, it hopefully will,
Exactly
right?
correct. You're absolutely right. You want to
What are you waiting for?
I did it different.
Raise.
No, you,
He just set you up for a raise though, it's 0%.
Oh, I'm gonna get a 0%
Why are you
raise?
not paying attention?
no,
Catch it up.
I've got a solution for you.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. Money drives behavior. All right, so this is electric bill, right? So now the sales consultants, not salespeople. We go in and here's your trailer 12 months. Everybody in the room knows what they pay for electricity. It's amazing if you're in an apartment or if you own a house. They'll say, geez, yeah, I pay about $180. I consult now with some companies. And I was down in where the hell was I this morning? I was down in Rochester, Massachusetts, working with a contractor. He's an electrician, and consulting with him, working with him. And he says, the unit I rent and pay $122 on average each month for electricity. I said, I don't care. How many kWh should I use? Because that doesn't tell me. Well, this tells the story. So we had this thing, and we asked those qualifying questions. You're going to get an EV? No. You're going to get a heat pump? Yeah. Okay. Who's your contractor? Do you know how many tons you're going to put out there? So we can do the equation and add to this number. So we know how many panels to put on your roof. Okay? But no, not a lot of people pay attention to this side of not a lot of people look at this either. Okay? My daughter, we put solar, my daughter lives right next to us, okay, Megan. Yeah. Lights are always on in the house. She goes to work. The lights are still on. It's daytime. She says, that's okay, Dad, I got solar. I said, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm being recorded. I'm a good Christian too. I said, Megan, solar's not elastic. It doesn't get bigger when you need more electricity. It only produces so much. The idea is to save your electricity so you have some credits the next month. Oh, okay. So I explained that to her. But not a lot of people look at this part. This is deregulated. Okay, third parties. A lot of people use third parties. In Gloucester, we have a third-party aggregator that we buy our electricity from. They give you a cheaper rate. Look at that rate right there, it's 33 cents. That's National Grid's competitive rate. It should be 11, 12 cents, okay? Last year at this time, National Grid just shot up because they got out of whack in terms of their cost. Okay? Now the dilemma for National Grid and Eversource and Peabody, Danvers, all these guys, everybody's leaving the club. Okay, what does that mean? They got a fixed infrastructure to get electricity down these lines, right? Those poles there's a fixed cost for that. So all of a sudden everybody's going to solar. All right, people are leaving the club. So they've got a fixed cost now that they got to spread over less people, less subscribers. So that rate's got to go up. Okay, so that's a way, and we'll talk about it, to save electricity right there. Let's save on cost, not on electricity. Okay? All right, here's the fun part. This is the regulated side of the bill. You guys see this, okay? Because this is important. All right? This is everything that you're paying for all of us in the industry that are investing in electrification. So this person, their electric bill, they're paying for the EV charging stations for all the people in Massachusetts that are putting them in. Okay? Nancy Kerrigan, again, up in Stoneham there, doing it for Revise Energy. She's advertising a no cost. She can't say free. The reason she can't say free is these people here in Massachusetts paid this month, paid Nancy Kerrigan $29 for the no cost weatherization Mass A program. Okay? They're paying for it. You're paying for it if you don't have solar on your roof. All right? A lot of people don't know that. Okay? You're subsidized in the state of Massachusetts. Everybody else is investing. And you're doing it in municipalities too. Okay? So that's huge. So this person, this poor customer, in this one month, contributed $36 for people's electric vehicles, solar systems, and energy audits. Okay? Doesn't sound right? Doesn't sound fair. So when you put solar on and you can get this KW number to zero, that number to zero, I learned this at Gloucester Public Schools, that rate times zero equals zero. I learned that, okay? John Sperry, my math teacher, taught me that. Okay? So, point is, you invest in solar, all these costs go away, and you don't have to worry about the rising cost of electricity because you don't participate. You're not playing in that arena. Okay? So look, few people know that they're subsidizing all this stuff going on. Because You can't say free anymore, because somebody's paying for it. Okay? It's no cost to the person getting it. Make sense?
Yes.
That's
So
what
when you go solar,
Yeah.
are you disconnected from
the grid?
the grid?
No, you're a partner with the grid.
Okay, you stay on the grid.
Yeah.
So if something happens to your solar, you can still get electricity.
No, shuts down.
You can get electricity from the grid, you can't get electricity from your
If
solar.
the grid goes down,
No, if
That's what he's
If-
saying, yeah.
if
The solar.
for some reason the solar gets damaged, a
Yeah.
tree falls on the roof or something,
yeah,
and it damages the solar panels.
Yeah.
Can I still get electricity off?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So that's a cool thing. So I'll give you a perfect example. Polly Barbaro, when I went and saw her in Washington just recently, DC, she was like, oh, by the way, my bill was $500. And so I called up you guys and I said, hey, what's up with that? I didn't look at the stats. But one of my team members did, which was great. Candy, thank you. And they actually, you guys said, oh, it was supposed to be at 500. It was at 800. So it was only $300 more because of the usage. So, and maybe during that time, it was down low, and maybe it was warmer out during that period. So who knows?
Yeah.
But there is a fluctuation. So that what I'm saying is that they end up getting electricity. It's not like it's just like, well, I guess you ran out.
Right.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's why this little box over here is very important, because Natural Grid and have the source, and your Ipswich and Peabody and Theaters, they give you trailing for 13 months. So you, to just, you can look at these numbers and say, a month ago, what happened in that month? Did your usage go up? Did you go on vacation and shut everything down? Okay? Because your credits carry over month to month to month. It's called net metering. So if you make the solar system, because solar loves two things, sunshine and cold weather. Okay? If we had as much sunshine as Phoenix, Arizona, our system would be more productive. Solar loves cool, crisp, cold morning. The other day after the rainstorm, what day was the rainstorm? Monday or Tuesday. Going out, beautiful day. And I wake up and said, I'm a happy guy. It's a great solar day. It was cold. This morning was cold and the sun was out. I love it. The solar likes cold weather. It likes it because it compresses the glass in those electrons. And those electrons, it's like squeezing a balloon. They explode at a higher rate, higher velocity. So they create more energy.
What happens when you get 2.5, 3 inches of freezing snow?
Yeah.
And then its temperature drops and it stays dropped for 3 or 4 days like it is
I'll
now.
answer that. It slides off and it sounds like there's thunder.
Oh, yeah.
And the dog freaks out and your wife goes, I don't know what's going on.
So the panels are warm enough so it slides off?
Yes, those panels get really warm.
Yes.
Okay.
Really warm.
Like it slides off like
Yeah.
thunder.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you just hear a rumble and you're like, what's going on? It's just like.
We're supposed to on the installs, supposed to. I hope to God we are.
It's also something
So-
good to warn clients about when you do have snow on there. If it's on a deck, I mean, if the panels are above a deck, when that snow comes down, it'll kill something.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully not you, sir.
I don't know why we think that's funny, but.
Hopefully not you. No, it's very right. I mean, the first thing we do when we do a site survey is we look at, is the south, where we're putting the solar system, the panels, is it over a walkway? Is it over a parking lot? Is it over another roof? All right, or shrubs. We let them know, because that's gonna come down, to Jesse's point. And it's gonna come down pretty good.
It is a good point. Like, I didn't know that, and it is pretty traumatizing when you don't know that, especially at night.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway,
So,
thank you.
in that case, we put what's called alpine snow guards. So that impedes,
Like on a slate roof?
yeah, you don't want to put solar on a slate roof.
No.
Oh, on the snow, yeah. Like if you see the interlock roofs,
Yeah,
the interlock roofs have snow guards on them,
Right.
to your point. Yeah, yeah, exactly. We either put those brakes on it, or we'll put a whole snow guard right across the bottom.
I'm sorry, were you saying before, when Jim was asking, are you saying, so obviously if your solar gets damaged, you're still on the grid and get energy.
Yeah.
But if the grid goes down and you have solar, can I still get energy from my solar? No, I would have to have a battery system, is what you're
The
saying?
batteries and
Okay.
generators come into place.
Right,
And
or I
just-
need a generator, but can the solar feed my generator? No.
Yes,
It can, okay,
if it's an electric generator,
right.
yeah, and you just gotta do a switch over, just like you do.
Or
on
only
the-
as many hours that it has been charging or it
Yeah.
has charged.
Right, currently, right.
Great point, great point. The normal, Tesla Powerwall will only power 7 kW of electricity. What does that mean? If you had all the house electricity going on in the evening, you're gonna get maybe an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half out of that Powerwall.
But you could have specific circuits for
Exactly, we
refrigerator,
do.
for the basics that you would need.
We do a critical load panel when we do batteries.
Right.
Okay, again, it's gotta be situational for the basement or living area. You can't put it in a garage that isn't conditioned. Because solar doesn't like cold, solar batteries conversely don't like cold weather. The charge comes out of those batteries.
Right.
Ask everybody in Chicago for Tesla.
Yeah.
They shut down.
Just give me we got 15 minutes, just to let you know.
I'm good, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
All right, so here's an example, asked earlier about the consumption of a heat pump. So if you're putting a heat pump in, and again, this is what we estimate, these are averages. So if we know the customer is putting a heat pump, we ask the tonnage, if they don't know if it's okay, we go ask if they pick the HVAC partner yet. We ask him, because he'll tell us he or she will tell us the tonnage. So for every 1 ton, the normal house is gonna use an additional 1,100 kilowatt hours. We add that on to the trailing 12 months. We've got now an idea of how much we have to put on the roof to offset their annual expense, okay? Electric vehicles, for every 3 miles you drive an electric vehicle, you're using 1 kilowatt hour to charge that vehicle. Okay, so a normal customer car, if you ever go look at an EV to buy, all right, it'll have not that miles per gallon, not like that consumption now. It'll have how many kilowatt hours that car is going to use in a year. An average is going to be about 4,000 kilowatt hours. Okay, and just so you know what that means is 10 panels. 10 panels just to charge an EV.
The size of the panel is,
About 400 watts,
no, square foot,
about 2 by 3.
2 by
3
3.
by 3, yeah, 2 by 3. Oh, 3 by 5, I'm sorry, 3 by 5, what am I saying, 3 by 6? 3 by 5.
So 150 square feet of panels, is what you're saying,
Yeah.
for an electric vehicle.
Yeah. The intelligence of solar has gotten better at getting more power at the same square foot. When I first got into business, the watt of the panel was 190 watts. Now in the same square foot, we're up to 400. Okay, and that explosiveness just happened in the last 3 years. Somebody was selling solar. Who was my friend that was selling solar? You were probably, back in your time when you were selling solar, you were probably 220 watts a panel. Now it's down 400.
If I can ask a question, is
Sure.
Massachusetts still offering the rebates? I had 26 panels on my house, and not only was the solar paying for my entire electric bill, but I was making $100 on average per month for 10
Yeah.
years. Every month for 10 years, I was making $100.
Yeah, you were in the SREC program, Solar Renewable Energy Credits, right? That was under the Governor Patrick administration. Governor, what was his name?
The ball,
No.
Wealth,
The next guy.
Baker,
Baker. Governor Baker came and said, I like windmills, I don't like solar so much, we're out of that business. So they eliminated the SREC. So you got in early. And it's interesting because the break even on a solar friendly house, and providing we price it right, should be about 6 years. You get all your money back in 6 years, okay? You'll double your money in 12, 13, 14 years. That payback period has remained the same, even though customers aren't getting their SREC income anymore. And the reason for that, sir, is you got in when the electricity rate was about 23, 24 cents a kilowatt hour. We're now up to 32, 34 cents. So the cost of electricity has risen so much, and Becky, I can't argue with him, okay? He kind of right. The cost of electricity is almost as similar to the cost of solar. So you're almost what's called grid parity. Okay, when it gets to 40 cents, everybody in the world better have a solar system on the roof because that's when the payback is going to be 3 or 4 years. So, and I always like to say, solar is the only investment, and I'll challenge Jesse on this one, that you can make in your home, that when we turn that system on, it's the only investment customers can make that saves them money and pays them money. Okay? Nothing else you do saves money. However, when my team goes into a homeowner and they say, what are your goals? What construction projects are you gonna do? Oh, we're getting a new kitchen. We pack up our bags and we leave, because you'll never win that argument. Mrs. Murphy's getting the kitchen before Mr. Murphy's getting the solar system, okay? Because that's what everybody talks about. I'm not in a sexy business, because nobody looks up at the solar system.
We go for the kitchen.
You guys.
That's right. All the way.
The bathroom.
Yeah, bathrooms, renovations, absolutely.
All right, last point, great future. Because here's the great news, and I'll leave you with a couple other things real quick. Only 12% so far of the homes have been electrified, meaning they've invested in heat pumps and/or solar in the United States. So this is last year's numbers. So if you're in this business, the future's great. The future's great, providing you can do it economically for the homeowners.
That's pretty remarkable, only 12%.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It shocks me.
That's residential, it isn't commercial.
Yeah.
That's not the industrial stuff you see on 128,
Right.
the solar fields, because they're pretty,
But it also was expensive when it initially rolled out.
well, it was $6 a watt retail price. Now we're out in the street at $3.50 a watt retail.
The people that are
Just to give-
financing, do they have like, are they having liens put on their houses while they're financing it?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's,
Yeah, it depends on the lender, but it's also if you lease it.
If you pay it back, you're good.
yeah.
Just to give an indication, on my house, my electric bill was $300 a month. The loan I had for it was $175. So my bill for putting on the solar system per month was cheaper than my electric bill, and then I got another $100 back from the state.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
it was a remarkable savings every month.
Thank you for that, because if you take, even today without the SREC, if you take your federal tax credit that you get it when you do your taxes, you dump it on the loan and amortize the loan again, or re-amortize the loan, to this gentleman's point, you'll be cash flow positive.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there saying, and you made a great decision because you're paying yourself for electricity,
Yeah.
you know? So it's huge. So what can we do? I'm gonna limit down here. Contractors, we need to understand the client's long-term goals. Okay, we need to understand that. As builders, we gotta stop screwing it up. I'm talking to the congregation here, I know you never screw it up, but you gotta make sure the house is solar ready. With the new HERS ratings, by the way, coming out, or they out? I don't know.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we just did one.
You gotta, people just, if you introduce solar, they'll make their HERS rating.
The building departments are still trying to figure it out too. It's the first year that's.
My brother was a building inspector in Gloucester, and he's retired, and he's confused about HERS.
So what's solar ready besides a new roof?
Don't put any, getting it ready, run the conduit up to, and give us a call, we'll come in and put a J-box in, a junction box up on the roof. They can put it on 3 years from now, don't matter. But we just want to make sure,
We're ready, but we're doing it.
I see.
and don't put anything in this, if you got stink pipes, vent pipes, put them in the standoff area, or put them on the other side of the roof. Don't design a house with a vent pipe in the middle of a south-facing roof.
Mhm.
People still do it. I'm sitting there scratching my head, but they still do it.
We're already installed over there, right, Diego, over at Hanley? I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And John, you heard the payback, it's.
I set it up, I just, again, like to get some of the stuff, I did the duct work already, but I don't have an air handler in the attic just because of the cost of the air handler to run that. And then the compressors outside, that it's like 28,000 for all this other stuff. I ran all the lines. When you talk about the heads, I get it, the heads are big. We put one big head in the existing part of the house, but in the living room, I have them hidden up in the ceiling. They have those ceiling units, so you don't really see, I guess you see the vents, but you see a little bit bigger than the other ductwork.
You're talking about the HVAC.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking about getting solar. It's actually worth it if you're hearing it.
If I have if I have the heat pumps for it to run.
What do you mean?
Well, how am I gonna keep my house warm?
Well, no, I'm just saying for solar, solar's just taking part of the electricity, right? The electricity, the heat pumps is what, yeah, heats and cools the house.
Right, but if I have a bunch of solar, and how much electricity do I really use? If I'm using oil to heat the house?
Not much right now, but it's it's just if you want to get it going, that's all. It's
No,
pretty cost effective.
We just do the math with
You
it.
just
Yeah,
don't wanna
it's
give me
just
a raise,
about-
I get it. This is the wet blanket though. Where does the materials come from to make the solar panels? From China,
Well,
right? And what type of pollution is that
We're
causing?
trying to figure it out.
Okay?
yeah, well, we can make the same argument for automobiles, okay? We can argue that one all day long.
I get it, yeah.
We only sell what's called tier 1 products, all right? Tier 1 products are not made in China.
Sure, that sounds great,
Right.
so you'll be the guy.
The other thing that's in part of the IRA is there will be some further incentive money yet to be determined, and it's a look back, so if you get it, between November 22 and now, you'll be able to get additional incentive money if you bought one of the qualifying panels. Q cells, which is what we use, is a qualifying panel. You'll get additional federal tax credits. Because they're trying to get all the manufacturing assembled here in the US. Makes sense. Get your business owners, your homeowners to do an energy audit. If it's new construction, it's no brainer, it's already done. But get those people that you're going into, just inform them, get an energy audit. 75% of it's paid for, and it's paid to the contractor. Customers don't, they get a bill. I did mine, I got $12,000 worth of work done for $1,000. It's income based, so if somebody's making, two couples making joint income about $110,000, the whole thing's free. Okay? No cost, sorry.
What about multi-families? If you own
It's gotta be owner occupied.
yeah,
It is.
that's,
Isn't it?
if it's owner occupied, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, what about the tenants?
There's a whole new slew of incentives coming out for income-based tenants. That's yet to be determined. That's part of the state's program.
So
That's not determined yet.
like, I was told that it was, like, I couldn't do it because,
Today, you can't, but
yeah.
Ely's got a new program coming up. It's state-based.
What if he's the owner?
Yeah, and it's qualified. He's owner occupied.
Yeah,
You get that, so that works for you.
Quickly, because I'm gonna get hooked here.
every time I talk to these guys, it ends up that I can't do it.
Go electric, take advantage of the incentives on heat pumps if you can. Make sure you know what incentives are before you pay the contractor, talk to them. A lot of contractors, the smaller guys don't know about this because they don't do the big work. The larger guys do. Okay?
Excuse me, just regarding the energy audit, it says energy audit at no cost, recommended work 75% paid for by Mass Save.
Yeah.
The audit is at no cost.
The audit is no cost. The work, you get 75% off the ticket price of the work.
The work being the installation of the system?
Yeah. No, of most of that is weatherization, most of it's insulation.
So Rama just did this. So they wanted to get this rebate because we told them about it, right?
Yes.
And so in order to do that, you have to get this approved.
That's correct.
So once you get that approved, yes, you qualify. They look at your windows, they look at your doors, they just do a quick analyzation based on your thermal imaging, and then they give you the audit. It literally takes 10 minutes.
So the recommended work is the audit recommendations for increasing efficiency.
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Yeah, but the key piece there is, and it says it in parentheses, up to $10,000.
For the heat pumps.
So people get caught up in the $10,000.
Yeah. Good point.
Invest in solar. Don't lease. If you want to buy from me, that's fine. I'm still a minority owner in the business. You want to buy from Cazeault, that's fine. Appreciate it. But if you have a decision, do not lease your system because it's a pain in the ass. And I'm working with 4 people right now. I do independent stuff with homeowners as well. And I've got one that's can't even take it off. You guys aren't doing the work. It's another contractor in Gloucester's doing the work. Got all these solar panels on the back side of his roof, 30 of them, and he can't get permission to take them off. Can't get permission because he doesn't own them. Okay, some finance company in California owns those systems, and it's a lease system, so don't do it.
So what's like the average cost for the system?
$20,000. Yeah, for an average system, 8K.
Yeah, I know.
With the ownership.
UMass loan works really well. You know, it
The
works.
UMass loan is phenomenal.
Yeah, like that's what I went through.
Yeah, it's terrific.
I had it difficult because, you know, I'd forget and I had to go back. They'd have to call me, so I made it difficult. But it's really easy.
He's an honest man.
Yeah.
All right. Other questions? Hopefully this was somewhat informative.
Was this informative?
Yes.
Awesome.
Can I give a gift?
Yeah, absolutely. Gifts are good.
So I built my entire reputation on doing good work, just like you all do. All right. I don't buy leads. I never bought leads. I do limited advertising. I only do advertising like we do Best of North Shore because we win the award all the time, okay? So you don't see us in print. You don't see me on TV except on this old house. All right. So I built the whole business on referrals. And if people refer us and we get the work, then we pay. And I'd rather pay people a referral check than to pay WBZ TV or WEEI or whatever it is, okay? So that's important to me.
I've heard you on radio.
No, you've probably heard my business partner, Russell Consult on the Cape.
I think so, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he does radio advertising. He's a roofer only, and I do his solar farm. So it's a gift to people. And I'll tell you, and here's how you pay for your solar system.
I gotta get 40 customers.
But this is how easy this is.
And another 40 for my friend Bill, yeah.
There's a gentleman in Boston, Massachusetts. He's well connected. And I think last year I paid him $5,600. Okay? And the fun thing in the office is Tim loves the white shirts, and I do. Okay? All right? So I'll leave you with that. $250 for HVAC. We don't do it yet. We're getting
I was just gonna ask what you said.
$250 for a roof.
But HVAC?
We're gonna be doing HVAC in the near future.
Oh, okay.
That's part of our business model.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you. Please send your HVAC guy over because we definitely need to have a talk.
Yeah.
Because you know, Jill in the office is great. The rest of the team's great. They follow up.
Yeah.
And I do think there is the back end. That's what we're here for. Is like we're very good with the follow-ups and the follow-ups and the follow-ups. Like it takes a lot. So, you know, we need a person like that because the scheduling that we deal with right now is like we want to jump out of the building and tackle that person if we see him.
Who's your guy here?
They have their own.
We're gonna be doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
And you'll be delighted because Evan's gonna be one of the first.
Sales.
And Evan knows how to do it because he came out of that environment.
Sure.
And John Maycumber, who retired, was our key guy.
Yeah.
Because he worked for Next Step Living in the heyday, and he sold HVAC, so he would have been our key person to go
Sure.
to, but he took off the name.
Mini splits or full-on systems, Unico and that you know of, Unico and
I don't know if we'll be
Carrier or
doing
whatever
the
Mitsubishi.
We'll probably be doing American Standard or something like that.
Okay.
Train, Bosch,
Yeah, I'll tell you, people
Carrier.
are very brand sensitive when it comes to HVAC, you know?
Very brand
Not many people ask about what type of panel or what type of inverter we're putting in, but people nothing stops a train, right?
Right.
I worked for Lennox,
Yeah.
okay, my little.
Yeah, well, next one.
Yeah, so you sit there and say, oh my God, I didn't know there was so much loyalty to the brand.
Yeah.
So you gotta select the right one.
Yeah. So any of our online team, I don't know if they're still there, would they have any questions?
If you do your own
Board
unit,
meeting, all right?
yeah.
You can unmute them, no?
No, they're done.
What,
You asked who the company
No
was.
questions?
Dave, I'm muted.
You asked who the company was from the panels.
Any questions?
Where we got the panels.
Yeah, let's take
You
that.
asked.
Awesome, well, thank you all for coming. So we have next week we have an interior designer coming. She's gonna be talking about how She works.
Next month, you mean? Next month?
No, sorry, yeah.
There she is.
Yep, Amanda's right there, look at that, huh? Amanda's gonna be coming in and talking about, doing interior design. Regan's gonna be with her, that's her side, her main person, to be honest with you. And she's gonna be just communicating about design and how she works with contractors as well. And I think it would be a really good time to meet with her. And then she's, gonna be talking about her book also that she just created, so.